This is my second of 4 videos referencing bastards in Westeros. This video is about the Wall. The Wall is a massive barrier of mostly ice stretching across the northern border of the Seven Kingdoms, separating it from the wildlands beyond. The Wall is 100 leagues long, 300 miles, and reaches over 700 feet at its highest point. Although some foundation blocks in hilly regions, such as near Greyguard, send it 900 feet in the air. It is told that the Wall was created at the end of the Age of Heroes as a way to protect the lands of the Seven Kingdoms from the others. This is the last front line of the final battle in the generation-long War for the Dawn, where the last hero, the First Man, and the Children of the Forest vanquished the others. Vanquished, but not exterminated. Legend spoke of its construction by Bran the Builder, the Giants, and the long-lived but slow-procreating Children of the Forest. The earliest of the first men known for his preternatural fertility was the legendary High King Garth Greenhand, who left a trail of bastards across the realm. One of his many offspring was known as Brandon of the Bloody Blade, who drove away the giants from the Reach. It is also said that he warred against the Children of the Forest. They changed the name of Blue Lake to Red Lake because of his slaying of so many children that the lake turned red. Some, however, have posited that his moniker, Bloody Blade, was more innuendo of a blade of a different sort. He may have had a similar fecundity to his father. It is also said that he was the father of Bran the Builder, who founded House Stark at Winterfell. The Kings of Winter and the Wardens of the North descended from this, the first official Brandon of House Stark, with no mentions of his mother or his legitimacy. Bran the Builder is historically known as the architect of the High Tower for King Uther of the High Tower, and Storm's End for Doran God's Grief, some say with help from the children. He survived the War of the Dawn and took up the task of finding a way to protect the Seven Kingdoms from a recursion of the White Walkers. He was unlike the legend of his father. He consulted with the children for help with the magics required. Brandon went so far as to learn the True Tongue to facilitate communication. The Night's Watch was a group created during the Long Night War. They were given a continued purpose and a home at the Wall. Bran the Builder also gave them Brandon's gift, a parcel of land to work to support the Watch. It is 75 miles wide. Bran the Builder is also said to have built the crypts at Winterfell and the old keep above it, where there were hot springs for warmth and a weirwood to function as a heart tree. Whether the magic of the Wall was part of the planet or created with the Wall, some action was taken to give vector to this magic. Was it weirwood trees planted at intervals along the path? The war dead of the first men or whites or children of the forest buried in the foundations? Greasy black stones carrying special runes may also have been a possibility. The idea of weirwoods underneath its length is an idea that can be supported by the presence of the Black Gate integrated into the Wall at the Night Fort from the onset. I feel that there being a history of imprisoning people in the ice and the ice cells like the 79 Sentinels and Arson Ice Axe is a cultural instinct that grew from the method of channeling the magic and once may have been considered necessary for maintaining the magical barrier. Sacrifice is required in the worship of the old gods after all. At the time the Wall was created, you must consider that it needed to be its full length, but it was most likely originally slightly taller than a giant. At those dimensions, it's entirely within the power of a group of men, giants, and children of the forest to construct. The Builders Guild and the Night's Watch then took over, adding to the height as part of their duty. As a rift between the people who chose to live north of the Wall and those who stayed south grew, they chose to make it wildling-proof as well as other-proof, and the Wall continued to grow taller. They would have gone well beyond its proposed original height. The Night Fort is the original seat of the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and there are thousands of years of scary stories mentioning it. Bran's type of stories. Stories of the Rat Cook, the 79 Sentinels, Danny Flint, where King Sherrod called down a curse on the Andals, where the apprentice boys faced the thing that came in the night, where Simeon Stareyes saw fighting hellhounds, where Maddox butchered his brothers in the dark, where Arson Ice Axe, a waddling raider, dug a tunnel through its base to cross the Wall. He was caught and walled in alive. Now to the reason for the inclusion of the history of the Wall into the subject of bastards. I've spoken in my Prima Nocta video of the consequence of First Night on the male bastards. If a bastard was born female, however, they couldn't join the Night's Watch as exemplified in the story of Danny Flint, who dressed as a boy to join the Night's Watch, and when discovered, was raped and murdered. Females weren't wealth inheritors or heavy laborers, and were not valued. And with bastards, there was too much investment to raise a child the men of the household would have no genetic investment in. Their capacity to carry the skin-changing gene was of no use to the small folk. I feel the value of the skin-changing blood was desirable to the children of the forest, and one of the foundations of the pact the first men made with them. Common in the Middle Ages and in the 18th and 19th centuries, a device known as a foundling wheel was a place where people could bring babies, usually newborn, and abandon them anonymously in a safe place to be found and cared for. Foundling wheels were taken out of use in the late 19th century, but a modern form, the baby hatch, began to be introduced again from 1952. There are some things that have yet to be touched on in the books that were in the show and thereby aren't officially canon. The biggest one for this video is the children of the forest creating the Night King and the others. Let's take this as conditionally true for now. If using the theory of conservation of magic, the case is that the others can only have the magics given them by the children, then you can posit that the children have the magics that they gave the others. This would include converting babies into others or children of the forest. If you take all of this as given, then you can see that the Black Gate may have been created in small part as a baby hatch for the purpose of delivering bastard girls to the children of the forest in order to augment their numbers after their uncountable losses in the wars against the first men and then the others. We have an unmanned gate that is, however, not lacking in a security system. A weirwood that can speak. It can be opened only by a living man of the watch. We don't know if this weirwood would also open for the children, but that thought would not be a stretch. The bastard's mother, or a man of the watch, appears before the gate with the baby, and a message is sent over the weirwood net to the children of the forest that there is a child to care for. The baby is left, and the children come forth. The girls go to the children, the boys go to Snowgate, the products of prima nocta accounted for. When someone approaches the Black Gate, the eyes open. They are white and blind, and the door asks, "Who are you?" A man of the Night's Watch must repeat part of his vow. "I am a watcher on the walls. I am the fire that burns against the cold, the light that brings the dawn, the horn that wakes the sleepers. I am the shield that guards the realms of men." The door will open then, saying, "Then pass." The door's lips open wider and wider still until nothing remains but a great gaping mouth in a ring of wrinkles. If, contrary to the Maester's teaching, you place the creation of the first other at the end of the first wars instead of the beginning of the long night, it makes sense of the first men's capitulation in the original war that they were winning. The nuclear option of just one White Walker under the control of the children and raising the dead first men without having weapons to destroy them would be enough to turn over the game board and be a sound reason for surrender. Being the creation of the children, they would not give the first men the dragon glass weapons to destroy them. The speed of capitulation would also make sense of the lack of stories about the others from this time. They would be willing to offer anything, including converting from their old religion to worship the old gods. With only one other, the first men could convince themselves that either the children would remain in control or the only other they ever encountered would just die after a normal lifespan. Either way, they would never see them again. 2,000 years pass and the North forgot. Future generations would see the War for the Dawn as the genesis of the others, as they were plentiful, and this time they ostensibly brought along the long night. The magic of the wall was still strong enough at the time of good Queen Alisane's trip north to repel her dragon Silverwing. Melisandre says her magic is strongest at the wall, and this coming from someone who spent many years in Asshai. Good Queen Alisane stopped the prima nocta practice in about 100 AC, and unawares doomed the children to extinction and broke the pact. She and her husband made Castle Black the terminus of the King's Road, making it the most important castle on the wall. This happened a century before Bloodraven. If Leaf is 200 years old, then she was born around the time of the closing of the Night Fort when the Night's Watch abandoned the Black Gate. His Queen Alisane was also well loved throughout the realm, being both beautiful and high-spirited, as well as charming and keenly intelligent. Some said she ruled the realm as much as the king did, and there was some truth to that. It was at her behest that King Jaehaerys at last forbade the right of the First Night, despite the many lords who jealously guarded it. And the Night's Watch came to rename the castle of Snowgate in her honor, dubbing it Queensgate instead. They did this in thanks for the treasure in jewels she gave them to pay for the construction of a new castle, Deep Lake, to replace the huge and ruinously costly Night Fort, and for her role in winning them the new gift that bolstered their flagging strength. My next video will discuss Beyond the Wall. Thank you for watching.